In order to truly resonate with somebody, you need to speak their language, because you could have the best solution in the world for something, but if a person doesn't understand that you know where they're at, they're not going to know that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Bryan Flynn here with the Go Rogue Podcast. I'm so excited for you guys to join us today. This is the podcast dedicated to helping people create content, give value, and then build a brand around that. So I'm so excited because today I have an amazing guest who I have a lot of gratitude for, who's brought me a ton of value as well, Mr. Pat Flynn.
What's up?
How's it going,
Thanks
man?
for having me, Bryan.
Absolutely. So the reason that we want to have you on today, too, is because you have, like I said before, you brought me a ton of value, helped me kind of launch different podcasts and do different things in the space. And so you are kind of a guy I look up to when it comes to knowing an audience, building a community, finding their tribe, speaking their language. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today, because we want to walk through what it looks like to actually get into those steps and be able to solve a problem for them after listening to them, and then provide that value for them. So talk to us a little bit about really what you do when you look for, especially with a tribe, kind of building that tribe out. Where do you go to make sure that you provide your content specifically for all of these different platforms that you're on? Because your audience is big. You know, we all have those audiences in different places.
Yeah.
So how can you make sure that you're speaking their language on those platforms?
Well, it starts with listening, and then part of that is also giving people permission to speak up in terms of what their problems may be. So a lot of times I'll go, and whether it's in my email list or on social media, I'll ask questions like, hey, what do you guys need help with right now? What are you struggling with? What's your number one challenge related to blank? And the replies that you get back are important because that'll guide what content to create. Potentially, if you get a lot of people saying the same thing, what higher level content to create, so courses or webinars or other things like that. But in addition to that, you're going to also understand the language that they use, how they describe that problem. And that's so important because in your email subject lines, in your sales pages, your headlines there, in your blog content, what you say, in order to truly resonate with somebody, you need to speak their language. Because you could have the best solution in the world for something, but if a person doesn't understand that you know where they're at, they're not going to know that. And if you can define the problem almost better than the target customer, they're going to automatically think you have the solution. So they're just going to gravitate toward you because, you know, have you ever spoken to somebody and you know, they're like talking about things that you're going through and you're just like, man, like you said it better than I could say it, right? Or they just nod their head and they go like, I feel like you're in my head. Yeah. And that's the best compliment you can get as a content creator, when you have somebody reply in a comment or in a message and go, wow, I felt like you made that just for me.
Yeah.
And that's how you get them to stick around, and that's how you get them to, secondly, open up even more about, okay, like I have this problem, here's what I tried to solve this problem with, and it didn't work. Like, what can you do, or what superpowers do you have that can help me? And if you help me even a little bit, I'm going to share you with the world, because now I, with the same problem, have probably a lot of people in my life who might be in the same situation. Of course, now, I want to help those people too. And now you've given me trust and just confidence in what you're saying that I can confidently share you.
Absolutely. So let's talk about kind of times, because you obviously are a blogger. You started out blogging, then you went to podcasting, which I think is what you're really known for. But tell me kind of the shift in your story to where you went, like you saw an audience on YouTube, right? So I actually found you on YouTube originally.
That's cool.
And then so kind of the organic reach of this is saw a tutorial you did on YouTube a long time ago, and then heard you on a podcast, and then actually found my Fizzle friends. I'm part of that community because they interviewed you as well. You've shared their interview with you. Yeah. So it's all kind of grown organically, but you saw obviously a need on YouTube. So talk to me about kind of like your story around going through that. Remember that time kind of back when you're like, hey, I've got to focus. I have an audience on YouTube. I want to focus on them. I want to provide them value. And you started to take it very seriously. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I started to take it very seriously only recently. Actually, after my blog was started in 2008, my YouTube channel was next in 2009. The podcast was 2010. But when I got onto YouTube, I was very scared of that platform because I just didn't want to put my face on there, and I was afraid of what people would say about my voice, and, you know, people are nasty in the comment section over there. So I was trying to avoid it. And a lot of my first videos were actually just screencasts of tutorials on how to do certain things because I was like, oh, I don't need to put my face on there.
Yeah.
And then I started to slowly put my face on there, but I just never felt comfortable. And then when I found podcasting, that's when I really took off and tripled down on that. And the YouTube channel, I've uploaded videos for just random things. So I'll be like, oh, well, people are asking, like I said, I do the research. People are asking for information about how to start a podcast. All right, I'll do a little mini series and put that on YouTube, and then I'll let YouTube sit there and do nothing for a while. And it just, those views come over time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 2017 I went to a conference called Vid Summit. And I got invited by a friend, and I went and I saw all these amazing creators just doing amazing things on YouTube. And the number one thing I learned was that in order to grow there, you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And you have to upload a lot. And that's why I was like, wow, that's probably why my YouTube channel, even after 9 years, is still, it's only like 50,000 subscribers, which is, I know, a big number.
Yeah.
But again, that's over 9 years. And really, it was just a couple videos that were really the thing that attracted most people. So it was at that point, that was February 2018, my buddy Caleb and I, who was a former Fizzle, he actually worked with Fizzle for a while.
Love Caleb.
We decided to go pretty hard on YouTube. So we started to, again, ask questions. What do you guys need help with? And we would just film videos for that. Like, it just made content creation really simple. And then we started to see some momentum after a few months. And now, fast forward over a year later, we've grown the YouTube channel by over 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. We're approaching 200,000 now, which is pretty amazing. And we're starting to see a lot more velocity now. And it's just really cool because the YouTube channel, now that it's big, it's giving me access to other YouTubers who have massive audiences who are like, oh, there's this up-and-comer Pat Flynn who, in the podcast space, I'm not an up-and-comer. I'm there already. But on YouTube, it's like, oh, this guy's getting some acceleration. Like, let's check him out. And then they discover I have a podcast. And like, wow, you're doing a lot more than I thought you were, because I only live on YouTube. And that's the big thing. Yep. Some people only live on YouTube. Yep. They'll only watch and absorb content on YouTube. Even though I have this podcast, they don't want to listen to podcasts. They watch videos.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely true. And that's why it's so important to customize that content exactly for that audience, because they may never find you anywhere else or never go anywhere else. So you want to make sure it's tailored to them.
Agreed, yeah. Because some people were like, Pat, just take your podcast and rip the audio out and just put like a slide up on YouTube and post it there. And I'm like,
no.
Who would want to watch like a still image for 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, there's no value there. And then I learned after going to this conference that that's a huge no-no also because of the algorithm. If a person goes there to listen and they just leave right away, that affects the rest of your channel.
Absolutely.
And so I'm like, okay, well, like you said, you got to understand context of that particular platform and create for that platform.
Absolutely. So just to kind of finish up here, I kind of tie all this together because you obviously heard the need of a specific thing. So I want to talk about SwitchPod real quick because it is amazing.
Thank you.
And I've got mine on order. I'm so excited for it. So
you.
Somebody who's been in the vlogging space and video space. So just talk to us real quick about that. Just kind of you and Caleb's idea to come up with this and then launching it. Obviously, Kickstarter is huge.
Yeah. I mean, entrepreneurship is about solving problems and helping to decrease the little frictions that happen in life. And there was a kind of a big friction that I was seeing so I went to Vid Summit that same year, and Caleb and I noticed that a bunch of people had these Gorilla Pods, right? And Gorilla Pods are great. But we just noticed everybody struggling with them. Like, they couldn't hold them upright. And, like, vloggers took the Gorilla Pod and turned it into a vlogging tool. They kind of stretched it out a little bit to get a wide angle when they shoot. And then they, like, struggle to open it and then struggle to put it back. And me and Caleb were just, like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. Right at that moment, a good friend of mine, Richie Norton, who actually I had once interviewed on the podcast, his topic was creating physical products. Me and Caleb were like, dude, Richie, come here. So we have this idea for this tripod that does this and like easier to use. What do you think? He's like, dude, let's do it. And we're like, wait, you actually do it? And he's like, yeah, let's go. Like, start asking people like what they like and don't like about what they have. And that's, again, the first step.
Yeah.
What do you like about this? What do you don't like about this? And we went through iteration after iteration. It started with cardboard, then like plastic cutouts, and then 3D printed ones that actually started to work, and then these final prototypes, and we actually have one right in front of us right now that I've been using here at this event that we're at, and the Kickstarter launched 40 days ago. Mm-hmm. We got 20 days left, and we had a funding goal of $100,000 because it takes a lot of money to tool these things. Yeah. And we were able to reach that goal in 11 hours and 26 minutes, and kind of blew us away. And
that's amazing.
It's kind of taken off now. We were in New York last week because some PR companies and media companies and retailers want to talk to us, and it's just kind of blown up much bigger. But I think going down to what we talked about in the beginning, it's solving a very specific problem for a very specific group of people. If we built this thing to do everything, it would just be a GorillaPod again, right? It would have flexible legs, and we made conscious design decisions to not have flexible legs. And if you need that, go get the GorillaPod. But this is for vlogging specifically, and it's taken off. We have over 4,000 ordered already, and we still got a couple weeks left in the campaign.
Goodness, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, just to finish up, Pat, where can people find the SwitchPod, but then also find out more about you?
Thank you. Well, the SwitchPod you can find at switchpod.co. And even after the Kickstarter campaign, that'll redirect you to wherever you can get it at the lowest price. And about me, I have a blog and a podcast and a YouTube channel, Smart Passive Income, and that's where I talk business and help small business and entrepreneurs grow and scale without losing their minds, basically, and being able to save time. I'm Pat Flynn on Instagram and Twitter and on YouTube at Pat Flynn, and just would be happy to connect with you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Pat. Appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out GoRogueX.com for all the show notes. But again, Pat, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.